What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Corey Graves is legitimately angry with WWE and was pulled from NXT, WWE cuts off Bayley on NXT, no heat on Penta, WWE unfairly fired a superstar, WWE's plans for Tonga lower at WrestleMania, AEW removes Fenix merch, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Corey Graves is legitimately angry with WWE and was pulled from NXT. At top of today's news is the latest development in Corey Graves' apparent anger with WWE. Fans are questioning whether Corey Graves is really upset with being moved from the main roster broadcast booth to NXT or if this is part of a storyline. Fans who think Graves is upset are pointing to his recent tweets expressing his dismay over the move as proof, not to mention showing a clip of Graves not really looking enthusiastic to do the job. Now, Graves was scheduled to appear at the 14th January NXT and told the fans on X that he had a lot to say when he showed up. However, as Cultaholic noted, Corey Graves was absent from Tuesday night's episode of NXT at the WWE Performance Center. The show operated with a two-man booth of Vic Joseph and Booker T. A PW Insider reported early on Tuesday that Graves was spotted at the Orlando airport, presumably returning to his home in Pittsburgh. They also mentioned that there had been rumblings over the last several weeks that Graves wasn't happy with his positioning in the company. There had been word within WWE for the last week that Graves wasn't happy with being bumped off Raw and SmackDown for the NXT assignment, where he would be the third man in the booth alongside Vic Joseph and Booker T. Whilst Graves did say that he had a lot to say, apparently that wasn't the case, as he really didn't show up to NXT that night. Fightful Select also followed up and mentioned that Graves wasn't seen at NXT rehearsals as late as 3:45 this afternoon, and that the NXT broadcasting position only had 2 chairs set up. Those close to Graves insist that his frustrations are very real and that the situation isn't a work, echoing reports from last week that Graves was legitimately frustrated with his move to NXT. Even Graves' brother, AAA luchador Sam Adonis, suggested that this was not a work. Graves recently signed a contract back in January 2024, which is believed to keep him locked in the WWE for at least the next few years. So it's kind of a bed that he pretty much has to lie in right now. A former WWE announcer and interviewer Jonathan Coachman had some advice for Corey Graves concerning his recent demotion. The coach shared his wisdom with Graves via social media, saying, "So Corey is upset for being bumped from the main announce roster. Happened to JR 5 times, happened to Cole multiple times, happened to me multiple times. He is right, he is really good at his job, but playing in the sandbox a little bit better might not hurt next time." A Coachman didn't hold back on how he thinks Corey should deal with things, saying, "Embrace whatever role you have and understand that you are lucky to have it. There are only 3 to 5 of these jobs at the highest level. Who knows, they maybe asked him to be a part of a 3-man booth. We know he doesn't like that. Sorry, had to. Last line a joke. The rest is the wrestling business. It happens." And what do you guys think of the coach's advice to Corey Graves? And do you think Corey is overacting, assuming that he's actually mad and not swerving the WWE Universe with a return? After all, many thought that last night after Graves said that he has a lot to say, meaning that he could have announced his wrestling return or maybe an entry into the Royal Rumble. After all, Graves was cleared to wrestle in 2022. Some believe that the plan is also to have a Graves vs McAfee match, but those reports have been dismissed. Next up, WWE cuts off Bayley on NXT. Bayley is a big deal in the WWE, but even wrestling's role model isn't big enough to avoid getting cut off on NXT. Bayley appeared on last night's NXT to speak with recently dethroned NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. Perez began berating Bayley, even suggesting that she could serve as Bayley's role model. Unfortunately, the show cut out as CW shifted into its next program, resulting in fans at home missing out on what happened next. Ringside News reports that Perez slapped Bayley, leading to a brawl. Now, it appears that NXT needs to make some adjustments to prevent these situations from happening. That is, unless WWE wants to lead fans to social media to watch things play out. Next up, WWE setting up another TNA NXT crossover. Is WWE preparing for another intercompany bout between TNA Wrestling and NXT? Fans began asking this after TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich was seen on WWE's developmental brand. WrestleTalk noted that Masha was shown in the crowd ahead of Cora Jade's match with Kalani Jordan on the show, with Cora picking up the win before seemingly teasing challenging for the Knockouts Championship. Do you think that this is the start of another round of crossovers between the two brands? Even so, Mickie James was seen backstage in NXT last night. Next up, Tiffany's plans for WrestleMania 41. A recently crowned WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton may be in for the challenge of her career at WrestleMania 41, as there's news on what WWE plans to do with the Women's Champion at WrestleMania 41. A WrestleVotes noted on its backstage Q&A that the only rumblings I've heard are Tiffany and Charlotte. I don't know if it's going to happen, I know they've talked about it. This match has all the markings of a classic as it involves two superstars with some same traits, arrogant wrestlers who can back up their trash talk in the ring. Add in the story of a young upstart looking to make a name for herself from a veteran, and this one could blow the roof of the Allegiant Stadium. Next up, Charlotte Flair spotted at NXT. Now speaking of the Queen, Charlotte Flair showed up backstage on the 14th January NXT and tweeted a picture of herself, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson, along with this caption: "Some girls want to be a princess when they grow up. I wanted to be a bad bitch girl gang." As it was previously reported, Charlotte Flair is headed over to SmackDown, so this could just mean visiting friends backstage. Next up, no heat on Penta. Oh, it's time for an update on the recent rumors that there may have been backstage heat on Penta for his match and promo running long, leading to WWE having to cut some segments. While Penta's debut match and subsequent promo was praised by WWE management, a report from PW Insider said that some talent were upset that he overran. However, a new report from Fightful Select suggested the rumors of some wrestlers grumbling are inaccurate. Among the talent we spoke to, they claimed they didn't hear of any heat on Penta, and most everyone was aware of what the moment meant to him and his family, and the roster was happy for him. WWE really made Penta's debut special, and they pulled this off beautifully by having his family at ringside and giving time for Penta to show his skills on the microphone, even if it did run long. Next up, AEW removes Rey Fenix merch. Did AEW pull merchandise for Penta's brother Rey Fenix? Well, that's a report from Bodyslam.net. Today, people took notice that AEW's shop has been taken down and merch related to Rey Fenix, and when you search his name or under the Lucha Brothers tag team name, you get a 404 result, insinuating that there's nothing related to the search terms. And this is particularly interesting because Fenix has been trying to get his release from AEW, but AEW has reportedly added time to his contract due to his injury-related absence. Is this just an example of pettiness from AEW, or could this be a hint that AEW is now ready to release Fenix? Next up, WWE's plans for Tonga Loa revealed. What's next for Tonga Loa once he recovers from the bicep injury sustained at the men's War Games match at Survivor Series? According to WrestleVotes, the WWE plans to bring him back around WrestleMania. They're shooting for WrestleMania for Tonga Loa. Yeah, I don't know if they have a spot for him. I wouldn't say that he's got a tag match lined up, but they're shooting that he's back on TV around WrestleMania. Tonga held a WWE Tag Team Championship with Tama Tonga, and the WWE has plenty of options, including booking them into a fatal 4-way for the titles at Mania. Are you guys looking for Tonga Loa's return? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE unfairly fired a superstar. It's time for an important update on former WWE superstar Odyssey Jones. Post Wrestling's Brandon Thurston reminded readers of the events surrounding Jones's firing from WWE. Palmer aka Odyssey Jones' termination from WWE was reportedly related to domestic violence allegations, although the company has not publicly commented on the reasons for his release. Fightful Select Sean Rossap tweeted about the case last September, saying Odyssey Jones was removed from WWE television when domestic violence allegations came to light, Fightful has learned. We've not heard of an arrest or charges being pressed in relation to the situation. We reached out to WWE for comment as well as clarification on his status. Talent had not been informed of the situation. But now Brandon Thurston is reporting that Odyssey Jones obtained an order of protection against his partner. According to the report, Palmer alleged that he was the target of multiple incidents of harassment and threats from his ex-partner, stemming from an incident on a cruise ship in May of 2024, which he says included physical attacks against him. Palmer claimed, according to court filings, that his ex-partner's behavior was escalating and that he felt that he was in imminent danger. It's worth noting there are no reports of arrests or criminal charges being filed regarding this case. Jones, who had recently been promoted up to the main roster, began a program with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods that had the potential to be massive, as in the original plans, he was going to be the one to replace Big E in the New Day faction. However, once he had been fired from the company, WWE quietly dropped the storyline, and the New Day just decided to kick Big E out. And the news has sparked a debate on social media about whether the WWE overreacted by releasing Jones. Some fans have suggested that WWE should have suspended him first pending the investigation. While they didn't comment on the reason for his release, the timing of the court case seems more than coincidental. What do you guys think of this, and how do you think the WWE handled this situation? Do you think he was fired unfairly? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, WWE changing up the Hall of Fame. And last but not least, fans who enjoy WWE's Hall of Fame ceremony may be in for some big changes, as WrestleVotes reports WWE officials were upset about last year's ceremony, particularly the number of fans who left the event before it ended. The only thing I can say is that they were not happy with how everything happened last year in Philadelphia in terms of the size of the crowd that was left even a half hour through. Once Paul Heyman was done speaking last year, the majority of the crowd left, and WWE was not thrilled with that. Now, this wouldn't be the first time WWE changed up its Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The event was previously held as a standalone event the night before WrestleMania, which led to complaints about it running late and impacting wrestlers' ability to prepare for the Showcase of the Immortals. Let's keep in mind this is when Mania was a one-night event. WrestleVotes added, "I talked to a source that said they couldn't really blame them because the headliner went first. It's the start of a very long weekend for a lot of people, so if you can get out of there at 10:30, you're going to take that chance." However, WWE was not thrilled with that, so I don't think they want to do that again. So I know that they're trying to come up with different ways to present everything. I just don't know what that is yet. Scheduling the ceremony after SmackDown may have led to fans leaving, as they may have been burnt out after 2 hours of wrestling, as just imagine how they'll feel after sitting through a 3-hour SmackDown. But it's also possible the fans who went to watch wrestling weren't as interested in watching a ceremony about wrestling. Given how the WWE has expanded WrestleMania into a multi-day event with fan conventions and other events that don't involve in-ring action, the company should consider holding the ceremony the week of WrestleMania. This could give WWE superstars a break and determine how much of a market there is for fans wanting to see the event. TKO Holdings is always looking for more ways to monetize WWE fans, which suggests this could happen. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.